Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Casey.
I called last Friday, and I was the last caller, so I kind of didn't have time to get my final thought in there, a question. But I did want to clarify. You remember me? I told you about, how I felt like my mother. I had nothing to forgive her for. And we were, I'm part of a large Mormon family.
Oh, yeah. I do remember now.
Okay.
Never asked a black man that he remembers.
Yeah. See? But anyway, I failed. What I failed to mention was the fact that our family was fine. We weren't rich or, didn't have a lot of money by any means, and we struggled. But our family was tight unit and fine, all up until the point to where my father was unfaithful to my mother, and that's what the precursor was to all of this. He after he had figured out that she wasn't going to put up with that and wanted a divorce, he actually snatched all of us kids and illegally took us up to Indiana where all that crap went down. And, then, my sisters finally went back, and my brother and I stayed up there with him and saw everything go down. But that's what the whole thing that started this was. So I think in his mind, he was thinking he was going to be on the hook for child support for 6 kids. And, that was his thinking, like, gosh, I got to get some, somehow make this right and get back in her good graces somehow, maybe.
How do you know that was his thinking?
Because I am my father's son, and I saw it with my own 2 eyes, like I said.
I know, but did he say that was his thinking?
Well, that's the consensus of all of my family members, too.
Did your father say that was his thinking?
No, he did not. Again,
so
you're correct.
Why would you assume that then if he didn't say it?
Well, I'm certain that it had bearing on his decision-making.
Why would you assume that if he did not say it?
Well, he probably did to me. I just can't remember.
So why would you assume it then if he did not say it and you don't remember him saying it? Because
right. Okay. I mean, I see your point, but
and what's my
I just
point?
wanted you to know that was it's not like he just all of a sudden got into this deal. And, he had a lot of pressure on him.
What's my point?
Again, that I should have gotten it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, and so why are you holding on to that idea about him when you did not hear him say it, nor did you ask him about it?
Because there was so much at stake, and so much was lost by him choosing that one big score over the security of him being in our lives, which we really needed much more. He could have just taken a regular job and been there, a steady force in our life, and that would have been much more beneficial.
Is he still living?
No, I told you, he died some years back, and I never forgave him on his deathbed even.
Amazing. And so how did you feel that he cheated on your mother and left?
Well, he did. He broke his wedding vow.
How did you feel about that?
I was devastated. We all were, because of the Mormon doctrine and our strong faith, and that was the other thing. I said my mom was too positive, but it was more than that. She was too positive in her steadfast faith in our church.
And so you were devastated when your father cheated on your mother, right?
Well, of course, yes.
And why were you devastated? He didn't cheat on you.
Well, because I saw him be abusive physically towards her after that, and he even went as far as to try to get her to cheat on him so they would be even, quote unquote.
And what did that have to do with you, though?
Because I'm, second oldest, sitting here watching all this crap go down, thinking my whole life is about to be destroyed here.
But was he cheating on you?
Huh?
Was he cheating on you?
Well, in a sense, he did. His absence.
How did he? He didn't cheat on you, though. He cheated on your mother, and the battle
he created 6 freaking kids. He made commitments to God and our religion, and he freaking broke them, man.
And how are you better than him? You're judging him. You're worse than your father.
Yeah, I know. You're right. I shouldn't judge.
And why are you doing it? Because all the things that you have complained about had nothing to do with you, and yet you resent your father.
What the hell do you mean it had nothing to do with me. It traumatically affected the rest of all 6 of our lives.
Only because you identified with your mother.
No, that's a load of horse manure.
You didn't identify, you didn't feel for your mother going through that?
Well, hell yeah, I wanted to kick his ass myself when I saw her come out with a black eye one time.
So you identified with your mother?
Wouldn't you?
I would have, maybe in that father state, but now I know better. And you act as though those things was happening to you, and that your mother was just this innocent person.
They directly affected me, Jesse. How in the hell can you say that it didn't?
I know that it did. I'm telling you why. Because you identified with your mother, thinking that she was a victim, and you feel about your father the way that she felt about him. Whereas you, if you had not identified with your mother, you would not have judged your father or your mother, and you would be fine today. Those things that was happening to your mother and your father, and it had nothing to do with you, and you're living a life of...
How the hell can you say that, man? That's just erroneous on its face.
How's that?
Come on.
How's that?
It makes no logical sense at all.
Why not?
Give me a break, man.
So let's break it down a little bit. Speaking of break, did it happen? did it happen to you?
Yes.
Your father cheated on you?
Yes.
How you?
He robbed me of his presence in my life for probably, a long time, and all of us. See, the thing was, it's not me personally. I'm not a narcissist. It wasn't me. It's about my 4 younger sisters. I had to sit there and watch go without a father and go through all this fucking trauma at such a young age. It was just, it really pissed me off.
Casey, you were wrong for judging your father and your mother. You think your mother is innocent, and she's anything but innocent. Your father could not deal with her, and she had problems.
After he cheated on her and broke his vows, and she had different feelings about it.
Casey, are you right for resenting him?
No, I know you're right about that.
And why you're not? Why is it that you're not right for resenting him?
Because to hold hate in your heart for anybody, we don't have that right to judge. It's only for him to judge.
So why don't you let it go so you can live? Because you're going to end up in a worse situation in your life.
My life is already screwed up. So
right.
I don't really.
And it's a worse. And then if you ever make children, they're going to end up worse than you. It just gets worse down through the generation.
I know, it's a vicious cycle. I got you.
So why don't you let that go about your father and forgive your mother for playing victim?
She never played victim, like I said. She was the strength of anchor of our family.
Your mother played victim, man.
She defended him even after all that crap, man. Come on, man. I told you the truth about that.
Why is it that you won't forgive him and her?
Because we were such a tight family unit, and the vows we made. I was brought up in the church. I went to seminary from the age of 8 years old. I was baptized and went to, got up 3 hours early before every school day.
How old are you now?
I told you I'm 50. It's well past the time I should have let all this crap go. You're absolutely right.
Hold on, Casey. Hold on, buddy. I got to take a quick break. Casey says that he has no reason to forgive his mother, and he does resent his father. His father expired. Casey, is your mother still living?
Yes.
What's your question for me, or do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to clarify. I felt like I didn't do it right. I just, I didn't explain that he had been unfaithful, and that was the precursor to all of this crap happening. So.
Are you surprised that you resent your father because he was unfaithful to your mother, as though he was unfaithful to you? Are you surprised by that, or does that seem normal to you? No,
the way I see it, it's just the whole magnitude of it. He had 6 freaking kids, 6, one right after the other, not a college degree between the 2 of them. And they're relying on faith and everything else to make it happen. And then he goes and pulls that shit, It's like, what the hell, man?
Are you surprised that you resent your father because he cheated on your mother as though he cheated on you? Does that surprise you at all?
No. I mean, at this juncture, probably, yes. But then, yeah, it was very much justified, and I'm sure all of us kids felt that way.
Does it seem normal to you?
No, not at this juncture, like I said.
And why don't you let it go then?
I'm working on it, Jesse. I'm hacking my way out of the wilderness with my machete right now.
By doing what?
Well, I'm glad you said that. It'll segue me into the question you didn't get. And I've been, for about the last 10 years, well, my whole life, I have studied theology, history, spirituality, philosophy, and for the last 10 years, I've been kind of keen on the whole Nick Bostrom's originated simulation theory, which David Icke now talks about prevalently. And I got to say, I'm usually right. When I hear something and I know it's true, my gut tells me. And I'm telling you right now, I think that he is accurate on this idea that this world we live in is some kind of digital copy. It's like a nursery. It's a precursor to
Casey,
wrap your head around in eternal life.
Casey, I don't know anything about all that crap, but I do know that you too much studying is keeping you in the darkness. What you're looking for is not in studying, it's in not studying. It's in you. And you'll see that once you pay attention to the hatred that you have in your heart, living in the darkness, and can admit that and forgive your father for whatever you resent him for, he could not help it, and forgive your mother, she could not help it, you'll be free. All the studying in the world is not going to do that. Getting to know yourself will cause you to forgive. And
the reason why I think it's relevant is because they talk about electromagnetic frequencies.
All right, but I got to run. It's a waste of time. Suffer. Just suffer. Until you're ready. Just suffer. I don't want to convince you. You listen to all that crap, and you'll be 150 living in hell. You got to forgive your mother for playing victim. Your father didn't just decide one day, oh, let me cheat on this really nice, wonderful woman that has 6 kids for me. He was wrong for, I'm not saying it was right. But what I am saying is that they both had a battle going on with each other. It's not just the father. And so if you want to study all that crap you're talking about that doesn't make any sense at all, and hold on to the anger, Casey, you sound like a nice guy. I wish you well. I wish you well, man. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.